you had sunshine and it was
No,
12:30 in the morning.
no, it is a lamp. It's a lamp.
We are recording on Friday, April 25th, the weekly chat with Etzion, Grandpa Etzion, in his rocking chair, and friends. Jay Baba, join us. We were just talking about he has a chicken who's wandered into his yard, and they get eggs from that chicken, and they have cats. This sounds like a very humane household there, Etzion.
Yeah, this is some kind of a happy corner for the animals, including cockroaches and mice and rats and all kinds of things. And the snake was passing by. And
all are welcome.
So anyway, concerning viruses,
yeah.
Unfortunately, what we in science, we lost any sense of who we are as human beings and the power invested in humanity. And what it is that our thoughts, we have the capability, we're granted the possibility of thinking, while other individuals in the creations don't have this power of thinking. But what's happening with these thoughts? Things all the time, it's like a generator in my mind or brain or whatever it is, where all these thoughts go. All the bad thoughts, which I'm thinking, creating, solidifying in the physical realm and creating all kinds of bad things. So all these viruses, all the bad things in the world are the solidification of our thoughts. And when we complain about something, we're complaining about the thought that we thought in previous lifespans, and they came, now it's coming upon us. That's what happens. And we totally forgot it, and we totally ignore it, and don't understand it. This is one of this main tragedy of humanity. We totally lost any understanding whatsoever about this. That's a real shame. And we, spiritual people, I often come to spiritual meetings here and there. I've been many times, and we don't understand this simple principle. And when I say it, people don't understand what I'm talking about. They don't understand that I'm not so clever as you might think, and not enlightened. Simply, it was worked out very simply. Baba, as I told you in the beginning of my training, I was doing all kinds of things. And at a certain stage, he let me see the consequences of what I'm doing, thinking and doing. So it was immediate response in the physical world. That's the way the avatar is teaching, not by a book. Whatsoever is teaching by a book, he said it in Lord Mayor, it comes from one ear, goes to the other. You're giving discourses. I don't hear you.
I just need to check on a dog. I'll come right back. I'm sorry.
Okay. Of course, I'll keep on telling my stories. I don't know who is here, but so this is what it is. This world is a solidification of our thoughts. Unfortunately, we totally forgot about this. And what happened in the early years with Baba, it was during the 70s especially. Especially during the 70s, Baba, in my experience, was very active. I had real experiences of him. It was almost physical. And it was for quite some time. And I had to take care of all kinds of things. He gave me special tutoring concerning the wars because I was going in and out to wars a few times a year. Those days I was serving in the Israeli army. He wanted me to understand the in and outs of war and the purpose of it, why he is behind it. He was with me during all these processes, and I was questioning him, what's going on with all this? And Because when you go to war, when you go to action, even if it's one day, people get killed, people get wounded, and I was inside the fire and all these things. And do you know what's going to be, what he wants, if I'll survive physically or not? But what happened eventually is that I stopped caring about this. But I'm still a human being. So one day I asked him, what do you want from all these things? If I have to go, I'll go and be done with this, and that's it. He told me, then I got an answer. You will understand. That's all. That's what came. I think it was in Hebrew still. That those days, we were communicating in Hebrew, I think. Yes. Later on, I switched to English. My mind became bilanguage. I'm thinking moving between the two languages quite easily. It took a process of quite a few years to adjust. It's not simple. You develop two minds because the whole system of Hebrew mind and English mind, they're totally opposing each other. It's very different. And it came, and when I came to translate Meir Baba on War, I told you that this was my first project. So when I read this booklet, I knew everything before reading it. Actually, I already had the experience, not the intellectual understanding, the very experience. I could see that when we go to action, something happens to the people. I felt in myself, things happen. You get some severe shock goes into the very depth of your mental apparatus, and it shakes the very foundation of the deep layers of accumulated sanskaras. At that time, I didn't know what sanskaras are, but Baba was dealing with me with sanskaras quite from the beginning. I knew that we have deep inside buried layers of dark layers, which we have to get rid of. And these dark layers developed by ignorance look to me like devils and monsters. So for years on daily basis, I was dealing with all kinds of creatures which kept on emanating, because while you're focusing on the Lord is a sun of love. The sun of love melts these deep layers of black dross within our mental apparatus, which no exercise can do. Only the fire of love of the Lord can do it. And I told my very first experience with this, it turns a fire on in my brain to destroy one particular sanskara, and it was going on like this all the time till now. It never stopped. I simply got used to it. There is work to be done. Accept it cheerfully and keep on moving, because you do some work. You do not necessarily have to understand. Now, what was when I started to do this particular work, which Baba gave me from 76 on, I remember the time very well. I got enmeshed with some complications with a so-called spiritual group, which Baba ordered me to join. And this particular spiritual group was dedicated to reconstruct the spiritual circles, which what Baba is saying. And already before that, during the war of 73, which took 73, 74, it took for me a year and a half till I was got out of it, more or less. Then I got very powerful insights. The main insight was that I caused the war. I couldn't understand how could it be, because I told it in the past, but I'm saying it again. For all the Baba lovers, the others, they told me, you caused this. Your ignorant actions in the past caused all these wars. You are liable, you're responsible, but he was not judgmental. At the same breath, he told me how to correct it. He said the way to correct it, to redeem it, to heal it, to reestablish the spiritual circles. And then I started to look for people to work together, to find a group of people who are centered in the divine beloveds, and whatever that is, It was a spiritual group. The beloved was Jesus, which at that time I knew. Even as Jew, I never had a problem with Jesus. Even many Jews didn't accept it for whatever reason. I'm going to get into it. It's a big, complicated historical issue and problem which never resolved. It doesn't matter now. You can spend the whole meeting just to discuss this. I have investigated it quite deeply. It's not the issue. The issue is how to heal humanity. And to heal humanity, we, spiritual people, the Bible lovers, in this instance, have to exercise working together as a team. This is crucially important. And it doesn't exist, or very little, here and there. And it can be a Zoom talk or not a Zoom talk or whatever it is. Anyway, what happened with me at that time, everything just went berserk. It was corrupted and the whole thing fell apart, and I had to play a part in the terminating this ministry. I really went to the heart of it. So it was a whole big worldwide ministry, and what I did caused it to realign. It was not only me, there were many more people who got hurt and abused. But in my case, I was under Baba's directive. And I was trying to get out of this. Felt like a fly, got caught in the web of a spider, and I didn't know how to get it emotionally and spiritually, and with the whole vibration. I tried all kinds of techniques, and nothing was working till Baba stepped in. When Baba stepped in, almost physically, and he started to give me instructions how to deal with this. And the instruction was very simple, and most likely many of us have been doing it unawares or being aware, which is even better. Whatever comes your mind, the very first thought or the first feeling, give it to me. And if this feeling comes up 50,000 times a day, 50 times a day, you mail it to me. Like it was so I developed this circulation of giving him whatever is coming into my mind. So over the years, and this process took initially 15 years just to get to understand how to deal with this. And after 25 years, I received under some understanding. I became mature with the whole work. And what happened and I had to go each year, for example, to Merabat, entering the Samadhi, because while I was doing this work, I was collecting sanskars. I'm collecting sanskars all the time. When we go to the Samadhi, when you sit in the Samadhi, it erases sanskars. Nothing, many of us have experienced it. I also experienced it in a Mirror Center in the Lagoon cabin. I used to go to these places, and after 10, 15 minutes, you feel washed out by the whole dross from the time you spent, especially in the Middle East. You can imagine the frustration and the anger and the hatred of the people towards each other, and I was dealing with these vibrations on a daily basis. When more or less I became mature, the presence of Baba he started to withdraw, and till he almost disappeared. I feel his presence. I think about him. I can see it in my mental eye, but it's a different face. And actually, he never told me do this, do that. Sometimes I told my Baba stories is that he gave me guidelines. He took care of things, and also there were long periods of that you feel that you have to break your head and survive the odds, figure it out. It's not easy, especially when you feel that you know that he's watching all the time, and you get into troubles and making all kinds of stupid mistakes. And you ask him, you knew, I was telling you, knew I'm going to make something stupid. Why didn't tell him? There was no answer, but eventually realized that if I would give it a deeper thought, I could have averted it, or whatever it was always became as a deep, important spiritual lesson. It doesn't matter what, actually it doesn't matter if I was doing good or bad, if I would be a saint or a criminal, he would have achieved the job. It doesn't matter what I was doing. It was like this. So this job, if you would work as a team, we would bring quite a, just imagine a team of Baba lovers, spiritual circles, the minimum are 3 people, from 3 onwards, or a real circle of 12 people, the 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 tribes of Ishmael, etc. Working together, it's like a symphony, like a musical band. You know, in the music, we have the 12 notes, and the 12 opposing notes, etc. Whatever it is, in order to produce a music, you have to work together. And this creates an energy which would supposed to redirect human, the way the mentality and the functioning of the human mind would come back to focus, would help if there would be a spiritual government on earth. This could have helped humanity to realign, and would have, as Baba said, 80 or 90% less suffering on earth, or totally dependent on the spiritual government, which has been our duty. And it's not happening for whatever reason. And I see these meetings and other meetings as an opportunity. This is a spiritual circle, to whatever degree it is, because we are together, we are here in peace and love, and we want to create something new on the planet. And so that's all what we have to do. It's fun and entertaining. So it could be that such things are happening worldwide here and there. And what has just now crossed my mind, that during 2002, we made a tour of the United States, myself and my wife. We went to, she dragged me to Cuba. She took me all kinds of places I would never go on my own. So she wanted to visit Cuba. We spent there 10 days or 2 weeks. I was driving around the island. It was a crazy experience because there are no signs in English, nothing, nobody speaks English. So somehow managed to survive. It was a magnificent island, and it's very sad. People are very poor, very, very poor. Very miserable place. It's a real shame. It doesn't matter who is responsible. It has tremendous potential. From there, we went to the United States, to the West Coast, to the Bear area, where we stayed with the Talbots, with the guns and the Talbots. We spent there a month and a half. And after that time, after a month or so, my wife went back to Israel, and I stayed in the United States for a few more weeks, traveling eventually to the East Coast, to Mer Center, and I stayed sometimes there, and then I went back to Israel. And before we went there to the United States, I had a deep feeling on Baba's. He's very unhappy about the situation, the rift between the Baba lovers and the Sufis. And my host, the person who picked us up from the airport, was Sherry Plumlee from the Sufis, from Walnut Creek. And she was my host. We were traveling together, and she asked me, at that time, the new Murshida, the former Murshid passed away, and Murshida Kono gave her first speech for the public, and Sherry asked me if I want to attend. And since I'm not an official Sufi, I had to write a letter asking permission to attend. I got the permission to attend. I went to the meeting. Of course, I didn't tell anyone that I had this inner experience. Baba is displeased about this situation between the Sufis and the Babas. It doesn't matter how it started with Eroj, it doesn't matter. Things happen. So I went to the first meeting. I went to the first address of the Murshida. She was telling her stories, and it was a packed hall. I don't know if you were in Walnut Creek. It is a very private, personal place. And they keep it like this. They don't want intruders. And you have to ask permission to enter, like any private property. So I was there. And what I experienced at that time, a tremendous current of divine love permeated in the whole room. It was, you really could hold it in your hands, the vibrations. It was terrific. And such vibrations, such spiritual energy can be created only by a group of people. And what I'm saying, I have no idea what they were doing, but I know from my former experience and from my understanding how such spiritual energy can be created on earth. The participants must be focused on the divine beloved and work together with harmony under the directive of a point of focus, like a conductor in a musical band. Since I have been participating in musical bands, there's no way whatsoever we can achieve anything without a conductor or conductors. I still do it here in Haifa, and we have a conductor. She's very talented, able, and without her, it's not possible to put all these tens of humans together and produce one tone, one beat. It's not possible. So it is not possible for 200 or 400 people who attended that meeting to be all of them in one accord, in one heart, produce this terrific spiritual divine energy. It's just like this. Just what you have experienced while being with Baba and living with him. This was experience. We experienced with Baba his divine love. That's why we call him the divine beloved, because this is what we have experienced. And I'm not a seer and I don't see any auras, but also at a certain point I started to see that the whole auditorium became golden. I could see like a rain of gold showering, and I was looking at this. I was rubbing my ears. Is it? I'm imagining or something, because I don't have such experiences, but it stays there. And the Murshida was giving the lecture, and she looked like some kind of divine angel surrounded by a hollow of gold, and I was just looking at it, and but the whole atmosphere was unique. So I went to her first meeting, and I think I shared this experience with the Baba lovers in the past. I think I shared this story a long time ago. It was from more than 20 years ago. It was 2002. And I shared her first meeting and the fifth meeting, I think. And we had a very good time. They were very enjoyable. And but still, there are people who in this community looking for conflicts and create rifts. There are people who are really good at it in our community, in any community. The things are doing good things, and they bring the devils back to its prison or something like this. You have to accept this. I don't hear you if you say something.
Can so you did not go to the new, the domes. You didn't go to the new center. It was before. It was when it was in the big.
The new dome of the Sufis was created a long time after my meeting. They built something totally new, but what I shared, place I visited was remarkable, and they are very well to do. They're doing presumably financially very well. And what I know personally And again, I'm saying I have no idea what's going on between the Sufis and how they're dealing with each other. But to be a spiritual director, which is the role of the Murshid or Murshida, this is extremely even dangerous business, because if there is a slightest tinge of selfishness, you are being doomed. It's very hard to get out of it unless you're under the supervision of the perfect master of the avatar. He can erase such things. I know in my experience, if I wouldn't erase my mistakes in this lifespan, this conversation wouldn't be. No way whatsoever I would be able to survive the odds. And I'm saying it not just as I'm saying that this is a fact, that he is the meeting last night with Christina. The masters are here, the masters are not there. Where is the presence? I don't know. I'm walking testimonies as they exist. That's what it is. I think I have the responsibility of saying it, even if you don't experience it. I told them, if the masters won't be, there was a discussion if the masters are here or not. After Baba walked away, where are the masters? Told them, if the masters would turn their gaze for a split of a second from humanity, the whole thing would be evaporated right away. The negative sanskaras of this world reach such a zenith, which is self-destruct, is automatic. It's inevitable. You know, you need only the hand of perfect divine being to keep all this insanity of humanity, to keep it together, because there are ones who deserve to tread the path and to advance, which helps not only humanity, helps the cosmos. And we know each person who achieves God realization, not to say becoming a perfect master or kutub, it changes the cosmos altogether. This has been my experience. If I can relate to this, then sometimes I used to ask Baba questions, which is sometimes felt a little bit arrogant. But there is to ask questions, there is work to be done. So one day I asked him, why did you do this? Meaning, why did you get yourself crucified? Why do you oblige you to do this? You suffered like any one of us. It's a horrible thing. And I didn't get an answer, but I did receive some kind of an answer each time I asked this question. And I have this kind of routine, which sometimes it can go on for months, for a long time, for a few months. Each time I would ask a question, I would see in front of me the Sai Baba, like in a vision. So each time I read this question, each time I saw the Sai. And it kept on going for a long time, a few good months. Let's say up to half a year. I sometimes do such things. I feel comfortable to asking questions, and usually I don't receive any answers because this is childish. But sometimes I feel like asking. Then eventually I got the point. If he won't do this crucifixion thing, we won't have the Sai. Nobody would be able to reincarnate. The whole process of evolution and involution would come to a halt. All of us would be in not here, not there, they call it. You cannot incarnate, you cannot do anything. All of us would get stuck in a limbo, this is the worst punishment in the universe, because this can go on for very long periods, and it's happening to stubborn, obnoxious group souls like humanity. And the avatar averted it. So the people who deserve it would be able to accomplish the path, and understood at that time that Sai achieved his goal, that the universe was something very different before the Sai and after the Sai. That came to me. That's what I understand. So what do we know in our little minds about the things unless you get the inspiration or directive from the Lord? This mind cannot figure out such things. I cannot. I'm just human. Without his inspiration and directives, I know nothing. So I share all these things. If I share these things to encourage the people, the community to work together in harmony and not to judge anyone. Judging, I receive all the time this and that about the situation here, situation there. Of course, everybody is now, many Babylon are supposedly against Israel, as if they understand what's going on behind the veil. I said in the past, if people are listening to this, and my constant strong suggestion, stay away from all these things, from all these world events, from all these politics, because you don't understand what is behind the veil. Baba willed it so this Israel will be like a needle in the eye of Islam for endless reasons. Some of this I understand, some of this I don't feel like sharing. There are serious problems with all this Islam. The whole thing went off right from the beginning. And we know what happened to this so-called Christianity from the divine beloved. They were burning people on the stake because of this and that. This is humanity, twisting the teachings of the Lord and make it into a travesty. It's happening. We have the capability of doing it. So what's happening in the Middle East now is, I said before, it's my understanding that a few advents are clashing against each other. What's going to be the outcome, I yet to be seen. But these things are not are painful. It's always painful, unfortunately. Anyway, I wanted to share. I read the glimpses. I prefer to share nice Baba anecdotes, which are wonderful and auxiliary. I don't hear you. If you said something, I don't hear you. You hear me?
You going to
No,
share screen?
you were mute. You were muted.
No. Are you going to read and share screen?
I want to share a screen. I reading the glimpses, and I
Okay.
found something very nice to share.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there are many wonderful anecdotes in the glimpses of Baal Natur,
Yeah.
which don't appear in Lord Mayor. He did wonderful work, sitting with the mandali, with Eruch and others, and collecting stories and the many stories which he participated by himself. Shall I share the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where it's hidden?
I think you should be able to. Your co-host. There you go.
It's not. No, it's not this. I messed it up, I believe. Here it is. This is a story from the Glimpses, Volume 5. Don't remember the page. I put it somewhere, but it doesn't matter. To reach the Haga one, Baba was making a tour in Amirpur, I think, one of these districts in the early 50s. These tours were...
The page is not showing. Do you want us to see it?
No,
page.
this is not from the book.
Oh, okay.
I copied it and put it on a Word document.
Well, it should always send you somebody's email, just to Tanya Bangadis.
No, this is from last night chat.
Okay.
I don't know, she sent me her email for whatever reason, Tonya, and I don't know what I have to do with this. Maybe later on I will send her a message.
That's what we see. We don't see any page.
What you don't see what I see?
No, Well, I just see the name of the, all right, did you select the page?
Yes?
Well, really? Maybe you
Uh,
should go up, start again. All I'm seeing is Tanya, the email address, Tanya Von Goddess. Don't see anything else.
I just sometimes don't understand this Zoom
I
thing.
think maybe you have to select when you go to share screen, you have to choose, and it gets a blue
But I
book.
got out of I see only a small screen. I don't understand these things sometimes, how it's working. Also, I understand what you see now because I see just a little screen
Yeah.
and it
You
is small and I don't see,
go out and start share again, and then you choose if it's on your desktop. Is it up on your desktop? The glimpses page, is it on? Do you see it?
I don't understand what's going on with these things sometimes.
We don't have to see it. I guess you can read it,
I
but
see, I see a window with both of us, but
okay.
it is not as original full screen with all. I don't understand what now. The window is bigger, but I don't see.
I think you have to stop screen share. And then do you
But I
have,
don't. I don't know how to do this.
oh,
I I got out of the screen altogether,
yeah,
and
there should be a red button
and
saying,
you're there, but I don't understand. But I don't see it. I see just the two windows with our two faces, and not so. I don't see the whole thing.
what you should be seeing. If you have the page on your desktop open, do you, if the glimpses of the God Man, is that book on your desktop?
No, the book is not here. I just
Oh, that's why. Oh, because it's not on your desktop. It only shows what's on your desktop. And you can just read. You don't need to screen share though. You can just read it. I wish I was there. I could. Ah, okay. Wait a minute. Mm, Uh,
I don't understand what's going on with all this. Maybe I have to go to get out and start again. It's strange. I don't understand. I don't see the original.
well, I think this is it. Is this to reach Dagwan? It was necessary to leave the canal. Is that what you're reading? It's it.
Yes, you see it
Yeah.
now.
All right. I see it now. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So maybe you read it because I can. I don't see it.
All right. I'll read it. To reach Dagwan, it was necessary to leave the canal roads and cut across the open fields. Once again, the love and longing of the villagers to have Baba's darshan was touchingly evident, as they had worked tirelessly to make the paths through the fields passable. They had even put red flags along the route so that Baba's car would not mistakenly make a wrong turn onto some local bullock track. Even so, as it was now getting dark, the driver missed the turn and approached the village from the wrong side. Just as they neared the village, they heard a lot of people shouting at them to stop. They did so, and thus narrowly averted falling into a deep ditch, which was a little ahead of them. They had to backtrack to find the right turn and then approach the village again from the right side this time. Baba did not actually enter the village itself. A little way outside, Baba stopped the car and sat under a withered shisham tree to accept the homage of the people for a little while. Glimpses of the God-man, probably page 46.
You can
Oh,
skip it.
yeah. Actually, the whole stop at Dagwan was somewhat impromptu. Maybe it was the love of the villagers which touched Baba's heart and prompted him to allow his car to be driven across the fields in answer to their longing. Love is a law unto itself. After giving darshan, there was no time for the people to perform arti. But as it turned out, Baba sat in the car for a while giving instructions to one of the mandali, and this gave the women devotees their chance to perform Baba's arti to their heart's content. Perhaps Baba's instructions were given precisely for that reason. Baba then continued on his way to Naranga. A few days later, the villagers were astonished to observe that the withered shisham tree under which Baba had sat was suddenly putting out new leaves and beautiful yellow flowers. Since then, this tree has continued to be healthy, even to this day, 1985, is flourishing. There is now a platform built around its trunk, commemorating beloved Baba's visit and his life-giving love, which made even the barren tree under which he sat revive and blossom. This brings to my mind another incident which occurred years later in Madras. In 1930, while visiting the home of C.V. Sampath Iyengar, Baba planted a tree there. It soon grew into a huge, majestic tree. It was a peepal tree. I know that story. Later, when Baba gave darshan in Madras in 1947, he was led to the tree so he could see how large it had grown. A parapet had been built around it, and Baba sat on this and leaned back with his head resting against the tree's trunk. Several beautiful photos were taken of Baba in this position. But in 1968, it became obvious that something was seriously wrong with the tree, and horticulture experts were consulted. They all agreed that the tree had dried up and should be uprooted. The Iyengar family would not consent to this and said that the tree had to be saved somehow. The experts said it was impossible. The tree had been planted by Baba, so the family decided to write him, although he was in strict seclusion at the time. They sent him a letter explaining the whole situation. The very next day, they were astonished to see a tender green leaf flutter at the spot where Baba's head had reached against the tree. Was it just a coincidence or a prompt divine response? Soon the entire tree sprouted new leaves and in a spectacular display which left the horticulturist amazed. If Baba's love can revive withered trees, just think of what it can do for any heart that is given to him. Truly, Baba's love, compassion, and omniscience are unfathomable. That's a great story. I had not heard that story. Wow. I need to have him come and sit under some of my trees. Okay, you're muted, Etzion.
Yes. It is from Glimpses, Volume 5, Part 1, page 65. For those who are interested. And you can download the PDF from the Trust Archive. These are wonderful books and other books written by Bal Natur and other authors. And I keep on reading these PDFs because it's great fun, very entertaining.
I didn't know about the tree coming back to life. That's wonderful.
There were so many stories like this. Just imagine the mandali were living with Baba, and such things would happen on a daily basis. All kinds of unusual things. He was using his omniscience without any restriction. His omni power he hardly used. He averted a few accidents, we know this, and he saved a few people. Things would happen sometimes, but often he would prefer, so I will gulp the cup of suffering till the brim and be done with it. As he told once, somebody came to complain that he is very ill and is dying. Baba told him, you better suffer till the end and be done with it and come next time with a new slate. Baba would prefer this and to heal people temporarily, and they would remain with their troubles, would come again, not with the same troubles, but the double troubles. This is what happens. If he wants us to come back, this whatever is fear is less on scars, less better karma. That's the whole point of when we complain about our suffering and suffering of humanity and the wars and this and that. One of the things I was taught by Baba himself, he gave me this special tutoring, that humanity reached such a stage, the only way to destroy sanskars is mainly by war. That's unfortunately the case. And we know he and Sai Baba conducted the two great world wars. And the mandali, some of them complained to him during the 40s about Hitler. And it's in Lord Mayor. He listened to it for a while. And then he told them, you don't understand anything. Now we need to understand that the mandali of the avatar, the best people in the world can produce, if you want to say it like this. Who can stay next to such a divine being? It's impossible. You have to be a very special person. And he said, not only this, he said, my Nazar is on Hitler. And they tried to kill him 8 times.
Wow.
Now, I was 8 times tried to murder Hitler. They didn't succeed. Till the end, till he killed himself. And Baba said already, I think it's in Lord Mayor, 1941, Baba predicted exactly what would happen to Mussolini and Hitler. He said exactly what happened to them.
Hmm. Hmm.
But he also said all kinds of things which didn't happen. But it doesn't matter.
Etzion, you should stop the screen share unless we're going to see something else. Screen share, you should stop it unless you're going
I don't know. I'm telling you, I have no idea what's going on with all this.
Yeah, at the top, there's a red, it says stop share. I think it's a red box. Next to there's a green box says you are viewing Etzion screen, and then to the right, there's a red. Do you see that red? And it says stop share.
Yes, but what it is, I'm not in the proper screen, and I don't understand what happened to it.
Oh, I see.
I presumably have to quit and come back, or we'll end this session, or you want to continue?
Oh, yeah, we'll continue. I don't think I can stop it for you. Let me see. View options. Oh,
I'll get out of the,
I can stop it. I can stop it. Just let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay, now we're good. Okay. Now, do you see?
Okay, now I see back the screen. So my neighbor turned on his motorcycle, and now have a naughty neighbor.
It's not bad here. It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Okay.
It's worse for you, I think. It's not so bad.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. It's okay. Okay. Fine. It is just 2 of us, but understood later on 30, 40 people, more people will watch it.
Susan will come back, I think. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I can, some various people giving talks without any audience whatsoever, and many people are watching it. Excellent talk of Peter Nordin concerning he spoke about the war, and really presented it properly. It's a good sharing. It's a mastery.
Is it called Mayor Baba on War? Is that what the name of the talk is?
Yes, it's It's from a year ago, I believe, 2023 or something like this, if I'm not wrong. I saved it. Some of the good ones I save in my, I have a special file for, like all the talks I have been giving, I save them because when I enter the archive, your archive,
Yeah.
there's no search engine. I don't know, you don't know how to find the former talks. So I save it in case somebody wants. It's good to save. We don't have a search engine, and some of the popular ones are archived properly, presumably. Whatever, you know, you have a very large influx of meetings on a weekly basis. It's very hard to keep track of all this. Never mind, it's just fine.
Wow.
What else I can say? If Jeff would attend, I would read my book a little bit. But yesterday we were sharing together that meeting with Christina. I didn't understand what they were reading about because he didn't introduce me at all to that nature of the meeting. He just said it's very good, and that I didn't quite understand what they were. I understood what they were talking about, but they're reading a book, which I didn't know what. And Christina asked me if I want to read the book. I told her I don't know which book and what book.
Did he tell you? Was it Creation of His Causes? Susan said that?
I have no idea which book it is.
Yeah, I mean, Christina has several meetings with many different books. She's really a glutton. She loves, and it's discussion. It's good discussion. Very, yeah. It's not, I don't like, I like to sing. I'm a different, I don't like too much discussion.
It's intellectual discussions.
Right.
For some, you know, some people will prefer the chit chat or get together and singing songs, having a good time. And to be honest with you, I would prefer this. But I told him quite in the beginning, I felt compelled to share with this community. Since Baba gave me some kind of training dealing with sanskaras, I presumably became more, how you say, sensitive or susceptible for this phenomenon. And I could see,
You
I'm
could see
aware,
it?
sorry?
You said you could see, do you see, or do you have no?
It's not, you don't see sanskaras, these are energies, these are feelings.
Yeah.
But I can feel when people are doing all kinds of things and they catch bad sanskaras upon themselves, when they deal
I think that's
all
the
these
day.
people, especially when I saw it a few years ago with the former president of the United States, many people didn't like his person for whatever reason. And I'm aware of all these things. I could say why and what, but I don't judge the person. I don't know why a person is in this position or not position, and I don't give any importance whatsoever to all these human positions. If this man is a president or a king, it is all it's passing shows. It's totally meaningless. Sometimes they're doing good things, sometimes they're doing bad things, and many Baba lovers were very upset why Mrs. Clinton didn't win, because I was also surprised. How come? Well, she looks a little bit more decent than this character, unusually human being. But I looked at it when, you know, I gave it a different and deeper look. Just I saw many people who call themselves Baba lovers are really swearing at him, calling him names. And while they were doing it, I see how they sap to themselves his sanskars. Experience it till a certain degree, and I kept on warning them. It was a few years ago. Hey guys, you better stop it. I know what I'm doing. I was chatting with Ouch. I know what I'm doing. I was doing this. I was doing that. I was having a tea with Mera. Who are you to tell me what to do? So I said, okay, you do whatever you do. But I can see the many people who call them Baba lovers took upon themselves zillions of sanskars for Mr. Trump because they were swearing at him. When you swear at somebody, when you get mad at him, you take his sanskars. This is the law. Baba said it, explained to us. If you don't understand it, it's too bad. And the problem is that these are what I would call a veteran Baba lovers have been doing. So they put an example for the community. We are doing, we know what you're doing. We are fighting the bad devil. In retrospect, after this particular person left, I looked at his ministry. What did he do during that 4 years? Nothing. What did he do? What was the one wrong thing he did? He didn't start a war. He didn't start any revolution. At the end, there was some this kind of strange things happened, which may be responsible or not. He was, I found it as a very funny, entertaining character. He is a divine being who lost his way like almost all of humanity. This is not the way to unfold the. Just imagine we would have a spiritual circle walking, then it would take such a person and we unfold him envelope him with the love of power. And this is healing. This is what we call in healing, this is white magic. Black magic, we're trying to force the situation, implementing all kinds of spiritual or physical means to change the circumstance. This is black magic. Make all kinds of influences to change the situation. But when I take such a bad person, supposedly, how do I know if he's good or bad? I don't know if he's good or bad. Who I am to judge? If Baba said on Hitler that he is Nazar on him, and Hitler presumably released hundreds of millions of people from horrible sanskars. This is the only way to understand why Baba had to take care of all this. The only thing which Baba cares, to eliminate sanskars. This is his specialty. This was the perfect masters and the avatar are doing. So it is very possible that due to all these horrible things that were committed during the 20th century, hundreds of millions of people, and maybe more, where the burden of sanskars was released, karma was changed, and they could enter the spiritual path. And that's why we have this wonderful surge of people entering spirituality from the 50s, 60s onwards. It's all due to this. And the Ouch said the people who came to Mandali Hall, when they came to Mandali Hall, but first they had to pass through the chimneys of Auschwitz. I think he said something like this. So we have to be very careful about these things. And if you want to unfold the world situation, we'll unfold it as a spiritual, you have to exercise healing sessions. I was trained also as a healer. Healer, you don't change the circumstance, you unfold things with love. It's very simple. You take the person, as Baba taught me how to deal with the sanskars, you envelope it and you give it to him. That's all what you have to do. What he will do with it, it's his problem. Because I don't see what happened, what this person did billion years ago. How can I tell? He knows. I don't know. I don't need to know, but I have to give it to him. If I give Mr. Trump to Baba, Mr. Trump has no connection whatsoever with Baba, so Baba cannot help him. That's one of the things Baba explained to me while I was doing this work. When you give it to me the circumstance, then I can help the people, because if they are not surrendered to me, I cannot help them. I respect the privacy till they will decide to surrender to me without a motive. What is it? I heard water running. I think they're washing the sidewalk, our neighbors. Never mind. That's what I understood. This is basic. What I'm sharing with you is what I learned in this life swim through scripture. It's not in any book. And this is crucial to understand. That the way to help humanity is that we depends on the nature of our surroundings, whatever it is, doesn't matter so much. Whatever circumstance we give to the Lord, then He can deal with it. How can He deal with Mr. Trump? If I give Mr. Trump to Baba, I take Mr. Trump, I put him in envelopes and send it to Baba, then he can deal with Mr. Trump because I'm connected to Mr. Trump as a human being. That's that service, and this is what I call white magic, because I give it to him. I don't know what is good and bad, and to be honest, this is what I have been doing all the time. While Trump was the president, he would get for me often Baba hug. Because I give it to everybody, like I give it to you. Whomsoever I see, I walk in the street, everybody get. They don't know it, but everybody gets a Baba hug because automatically I'm sending everything to him. It's automatic. After all these decades of training, I don't think about this. But inside myself was built a mechanism which steps some scars and give it to the Lord all the time, non-stop. This is kind of like a machine which is working automatic. And this is simple and easy. Eventually, it becomes easy after some training. In the beginning, it was very hard, very difficult, very painful. And after Mr. Trump left his office, I was looking, well, everybody was shouting and angry, and he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he didn't do nothing. He was
Well,
just-
yeah, no, they did, when they stormed the White House, and that was wrong.
This after he's finished his ministry, whatever.
But he
which is-
started, he encouraged people to do
It
that.
could be. But during his ministry, as long as he was president, nothing untoward happened. Nothing really. I don't know what happened with all this thing. I have no idea. Sometimes, Baba bangs the heads of the people against each other to stir up the circumstance. Sometimes we need upheavals and wars and conflicts to shake us up. Maybe it was needed. Who knows? Who knows what is behind the veil? Because we don't say it. So we have to be careful not to judge. But naturally, we leave it to the jurisdiction system to handle. And they are very confused. Even the whole system is very confused about this character.
Yeah,
Such person, he stirs up the situation, just people made, and it might be good behind the veil because he shakes things up. Maybe it needs to be done. People are comfortable. They want to have their 3 meals a day. They want to be happy. They want a leader to makes them comfortable, and we'll have as plenty cakes as they want. People don't want a leader telling the truth. I don't know if about him. He has no spiritual understanding whatsoever. But the other leaders in the world, there's no one single leader in the world who has a spiritual understanding whatsoever. There's nobody, not a single one. They simply don't know. I don't blame them because they don't know. Because we don't have a spiritual government to direct humanity. That's it. That's all what I have to say. If you want to continue, we continue a little bit. If Jeff would come, I would read my book a little bit, but
I think, well,
I don't know.
I need to take a bit of a break. Huey's gonna come on in half an hour. So maybe a while. See, yeah.
My the lamp went off. You can
Yeah.
see it from the light of the screen.
Right, looks nice. Oh, the screen is what's doing it. You look like you're in the jungle, Etzion.
Okay. So, we had a good time. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell Jeff to come next time so you can read what was it you were reading to him? Oh, your book. Yeah, okay.
The book I was writing about interpretation of the Genesis and Exodus.
Uh-huh.
And the book tells
Now, Christina was very interested in that. Who told me that? Susan, I guess, told me that. She tell you that? Yeah, she did. We were just talking to her. That's right. Yeah.
yes, something like this, but I'm working on this book. I translated it with the automatic translator, and then I have to compare sentence to sentence, the English versus the Hebrew for accuracy, because it's artificial intelligence and makes sometimes strange things, sometimes doesn't.
Right, that's right.
So I have to, and it's a big deal. It will take me some time, but I'm working on this daily.
Yeah.
Whenever I have time, I have other things to do. I think there are revelations there which Baba gave me insights which were never recorded before. As I said in the former meetings, that you can see all the wisdom of God speaks. As Baba said, all wisdom was given already to humanity. All knowledge, it's all there in the book of Moses. Everything is there. The whole knowledge of spirituality. Very deep, very, very different and very encouraging. And what is, you can actually read it only in Hebrew. These translations are not right. They're all wrong. All the translations said like it's not in the beginning, it's the process of
Oh, that's right.
I told this, it's like the Big Bang. Why I wrote it? Because I experienced it in Mirabad.
Yeah.
Baba gave me the experience. What is this, the very first verse of the Hebrew Jews? Because I didn't know. I was reading it like any other person. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, which is a literal translation, but it totally has nothing to do with it.
Interesting.
It is this differentiation of manyness to oneness to manyness. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and it continues. You said it's continual.
This is a continuous
That was very interesting. Yeah.
situation in the cosmos. The cosmos, it's consistent. It's a non-stop situation as long this activity of the universe continues. And what it is, this brings the role of humanity, which is supposed to adjust these streams of all the kingdoms and to deliver it, to direct it, the individuals towards a goal. So we'll enter the involution, the spiritual path, and start to remove the sanskaras, which were being created in ignorance. Ignorance is necessary. And to be the mystery of creation, one of the ladies, this was Tonya. That's why I kept her email, I believe. She said, but we are this, we are that, we are stupid, we are limited, we are making mistakes. And I didn't comment on it, but it crossed my mind that the mystery, the mystery magnum of creation, how could it be that the infinitude, the godhood, the perfection breaks down, becomes ignorant, stupid, idiot, a criminal? How could it be? This is the grand mystery of creation. And to solve this is an issue. This is a very big issue. This is a grand mystery.
That's right. Now we have to go back. Yeah.
And this is the role of humanity, to solve this mystery. We can. This is our duty. And it is a mystery because we don't play the game. Maybe hopefully one day we'll decide to play the game. Okay.
Okay.
Enjoy being with you. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So until next time. All right. Susan,
Thank you.
she just came on to say goodbye.
Well, look at the recording.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Yeah.
I know. I hated leaving. Ciao.
All right.
We don't see you.
Aloha.
Huey comes. Well, that's because we're recording. Susan doesn't want to be recording. But so next time I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe Jeff will come. And I was going to say Huey, I don't know. Do you come to Huey's meeting, Susan? There he is.
I joined last week.
Well,
it's a very, very sharp, nerdy group.
You know,
they've all got performance routines laid out.
I'm going to stop the recording now. And since Huey's here, you can just stop.